Welcome everybody to What's Up, Bolts. I'm Fernando Ramirez. That's sunglass donning, hat wearing son of a gun is Dan and Daygo, my little brother. We are here to review Bears at Chargers Sunday, October 29th at 5:20 p.m. prime time.
Nope. Give me the 10 a.m. Frau. I need this heart attack over with. I hate waiting for this manure. It's unbelievable. I hate when they're on prime time.
Well, and I mean, it's honestly going to be very interesting because there's no well, as of right now, there's probably going to be no Justin Fields. Dan, what do you? I mean, obviously, we have to go a little bit into what happened with the Chiefs last week, but what are kind of how? Don't go into the game. Just go into
storylines.
Your feeling going into this week. No. Just how, like, get me into the mind of you're a different kind of Charger fan, but your mindset, like, how are you moving on this week? I mean, I spoke to Keenan Allen and he told me, look, we're 2-4. I get it. We haven't started the way this season that we want to, but now it's all about going on a 11-game winning streak and trying to get better. But we have to start with this weekend. Just what's kind of your mindset right now?
I would echo the same thing, similar in the sense that, like, again, I think I said this the week of the Raiders. This is the perfect type of team to get your team jump started with, right? Playing well defensively, playing sound football defensively, getting stops on third down, making sure you're making open field tackles and things like that. And on the offense, keeping Herbert clean, right? That's been a huge problem these past few weeks. Keep Herbert clean, run the football, and try to be a little smoother on offense, because I don't think you've really seen it clicking on all cylinders since maybe Miami or so. Well, Miami was week 1, but I can't really think of a game where they've really clicked on all cylinders like they did in that game, where they were moving the ball at will, scoring, and I think lately it's just been either they've been beating themselves up with penalties or they just haven't been blocking well like everyone thought they would. So again, the Bears are not a very good team. They're on their second string quarterback. This is the type of game that's either going to propel your team and jumpstart it, or it's a trap game. So we're going to find out which one it is on Sunday night, unfortunately, because of course everything's just magnified when you're on prime time. You can't fall through the cracks for now with the 2x2 over here on Sunday NFL tickets. So it's definitely.
So you were talking about you're talking about Mike Williams. That's what you were saying, that this team looks different without him.
I was talking about this is the game to get it jump started because the Bears are not a very good football team.
Yeah, but you said they haven't looked complete since Mike and Corey Linsley went out.
Basically, yeah.
So according to Next Gen Stats, on the field with Mike Williams and essentially Corey Linsley, but it just says Mike Williams. But according to them, Herbert had 103 dropbacks. He had 2.52 seconds to throw, and he was only pressured at 27.2%. Without Mike Williams, he has been pressured 42.8% of the time.
Yeah.
And Corey Linsley. So
double.
It's been a little bit difficult, but you know what? You bring me up to a good point. Here is Justin Herbert. He was asked today about being without those two guys, and this is what he had to say about that.
That's what I do, Fran. I volleyball it up to you. That's what I do here.
There you go.
You say the offense has been impacted with Corey being out and Mike being out.
It's definitely tough losing two guys like that. They're about as good as it gets, and they're veterans in this league who've had a bunch of success. So anytime you lose a guy like Mike or Corey, it's going to be tough. But we're thankful for the guys who have stepped up, and we found out a lot about the guys that we have behind them, and we've got complete faith and confidence in those guys, especially Will and Q. So it's been good to see from those guys stepping up.
Thoughts?
He said Q stepping up. I mean, I don't know, dude. I understand he's got to say these things. He's the quarterback. He's not going to bury his teammates in the media, but it just has not looked good. I mean, a Coach Pompa saying I love is you can't put shit on sugar and expect it to taste good. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't put sugar on shit and expect it to taste good. You know what I mean? And it has not looked like what was promised, what was hyped up or whatever. And it didn't look like it has since week 1. So I don't know. I think more than anything right now, again, they're at a crossroads. I don't know how many more crossroads they can get to before it really goes off the rails, but they're at a crossroads because either you're going to move forward going in the right direction or literally the season's going to slip out of their hands pretty quickly, I think, at this point. Because we talked about this last week or either last week or after the Chiefs game, their schedule's about to get a lot harder pretty soon. And it's like, if you can't even really put away these teams that, are not very good, God only knows what's going to happen when you get into these big time games, because they like to do this stuff. They like to play down to their opponents, and then they elevate their game when they're playing the top teams in the league. So I don't know what it's going to be on Sunday. I think the other thing to look out for is I don't really know again, I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know. But I think it's a little bit concerning that you have players kind of contradicting the head coach as to what happened in the first half. Like, where's the miscommunication coming from? Is it going to leak out into this week and there's going to be a rift between players and coaches and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Like, that stuff does play a factor, unfortunately. Not everything is kumbaya, especially when things are going bad. So I think that's something to look out for also, just to make sure to see if, they're going out there frustrated and everything else. So
I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to go back a little bit to that Chiefs game, and who better to tell us about that Chiefs game than Travis Kelce himself. So let's go real quick and see what he had to say about that on their podcast on New Heights.
And yeah, it always fires me up when you leave the huddle knowing that you're about to get a bullet from Pat Mahomes right over the middle of the field.
This is coming right to me.
Oh yeah, they're in cover 3. Let's go. I just think it's irony, and I got all the respect for guys like Derwin James, Kendricks, both.
You felt that one.
And Khalil Mack. They have guys over there that are Pro Bowl caliber all stars. So it's just being locked in throughout the week, kind of what I said about Coach Nagy challenging the team, challenging the offense to, really just be us and stop hurting ourselves. We didn't have very many penalties on the offensive side. I jumped off sides or offensive side. I jumped off sides as one of the penalties. Yeah, false start. So that obviously.
So obviously Travis talking there about going through them and stuff, and what he's faced with the Chargers. Here he goes more a little bit. This is the last video, I swear, Dan. This is where he goes a little bit. He goes more a little bit in depth about what challenges the Chargers presented in the second half.
For sure.
What were the big adjustments the Chargers made to kind of slow things down in the second half a little bit?
They pushed me at the line a little bit and had a little bit more bracket coverages on crossers. And I don't think it was always focused on me, but they had like a thief or a robber coming from the sky to kind of take anybody that was crossing the field.
Yeah, but it was usually whichever side of the field you were on for the most part.
Yeah, correct. I think it was that was really the only adjustments they made against me in coverage. You know what I mean? So I don't know. They tightened up. I think the biggest thing for us was getting that run game going in the second.
Dan, just so you can explain, what's a robber? Like what is
if anyone's played Madden, basically the robber's the guy who looks like he's going to drop deep, but he almost comes towards the ball, towards the line of scrimmage in the middle to take away everything coming across the middle, right? So when he talks about crossers coming through, that's what he's talking about essentially, because the whole point of crossing routes, especially if you have two coming at the same time, it's to pick the receivers, right? Or pick the corners or whoever's in coverage on them, right? So if they're manned up and there's a robber and someone gets picked off, the robber's going to be there if they throw it across the middle and stuff like that to make the play. So basically that's what it is, to try and limit the middle of the field and take it away from them. Just adding an extra guy in coverage because you have that layer of linebackers and the safety or whatever. So instead of the safeties veering off to cover deep, they're just stepping up with these linebackers to add the extra layer, make it a little tighter window throws and stuff like that. So basically, but that's exactly what we talked about after the game, though. You can lose and keep your head up high if Travis Kelce is limited to like 1 catch, 15 yards, and however many targets, and you take 2 guys to him or whatever, you know what I mean? You just don't let that guy run free willy-nilly off the line of scrimmage. So
Yeah,
that's exactly what should have happened from the beginning.
Here's what Derwin James, he went in depth and talked about what they did at halftime and basically about doing that now more regularly, trying to make calls on the fly and maybe not waiting till halftime. But here it is.
How more difficult is that trying to do it on the
Shout out
fly
to Uncle
in the
Joe.
first half compared to making the adjustments at halftime?
The game is always presenting opportunity where you got to change the defense, but when you're going against man, it also presents a challenge against a quarterback that can run too, because you've seen a couple of times he got away on those 3rd and longs, scrambling with his legs. So you got your when you play man, is always that aspect of it too. But like I said, we got to be able to play both. We got to be able to play zone, we got to be able to play man, and go out there and execute.
What do you make about what Derwin said there?
I mean, he's right. Of course, like, he's the player, so he's never gonna make it bigger than it is. He's a team captain. The guy's a leader. The guy's a dog.
Can you believe people are going on social media and saying that he's lost a step? That
it's idiotic. It's the same people who are trying to trade Justin Herbert or bench him. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. The thing about it, right, is that unfortunately coaching can only take teams so far, right? Like, you could have the great coaches out there, but if they have guys on the field who can't execute, that's a huge problem. And of course, I think it goes hand in hand, right, with this Chargers team, because you've seen at times, these players execute at a high level, and it all goes together, right? It all goes together from the coaching to the players, and they're executing on point. They're executing the game plan well, right? You also seen when it goes pretty negatively, right? And it's either bonehead decisions either made by players or coaches in the sense of what the game plan kind of is, and players in the sense of making stupid penalties or losing their feet or whatever else, just not having proper technique. So, I mean, he's right in the sense that players do have to execute, but also as a coach, your main responsibility is to put your players in positions to win, right? And I don't want to spend so much time on Kansas City because I mean that was last week, but
yeah,
100%. What should have happened was what happened in the second half, where you're physical with Travis Kelce at the line of scrimmage and you're trying to box him in to make sure he can't go anywhere. I'm curious to see what his second half stats were, low key, but obviously I'm not going to pull it up right now. So,
yeah, no, I completely agree on that. Dan, let's go to the interview with Alex Shapiro of NBC Chicago. He is going to break down. I know I didn't get you guys a guest last week, but Alex is going to break down all things Chicago Bears. Bear down. Go ahead. You do it better.
Da Bears.
Or the other one.
Which one's
Chicago?
No, Bear Don. Yeah, Bear Don.
You have more of Yinzer in you than I do. The
Midwest, dude.
Yeah,
no,
so
we'll talk. Yinzer's Pittsburgh, I think. Yinzer's only.
Oh, I know, but you know how that they go.
Bear Don. Yeah, how they do it. Yeah, Bear Don. Shout out to our COMPAS. What?
Pick it up and put it.
Pick it up and put it down. Hand the ball off to Nosh. Hilarious, dude.
Let's go to Alex Shapiro and let's see if what he thinks. Will Seth Rollins be tweeting out he loves football or he hates football this weekend? Let's go to him now.
If he tweets out he loves football, I'm moving on with my life. It's over.
Folks, you guys know I love when the season's on. Well, yeah, we all enjoy when the season's on, but I love reaching out to fellow beat reporters, talking to them, seeing what life is like on other teams. So this week is Bears week, Sunday night football. I had to bring in NBC Sports Chicago Bears beat reporter Alex Shapiro. Alex, thank you so much for jumping on.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to talk Bears.
Da Bears. But Alex, just tell me a little bit about what you got. What's kind of the feeling around about who the Bears are this year? I mean, everyone this week expected Justin Fields, Justin Herbert, and we're getting a little bit of a different mix. Just what's kind of the feeling around the Bears right now in Chicago?
Well, right now it's just how can they pick up the pieces and finish the rest of the season strong, right? So they came in with I don't want to say lofty expectations. I don't think anybody was expecting him to make a big postseason run, but people were expecting improvement. Hey, don't be the worst team in football again. But for a few weeks, it looked like, oh my goodness, they might be the worst team in football again. Now they've gotten better and they've made some changes. Matt Eberflus has taken over the defense. Alan Williams was the former defensive coordinator. He had to resign for health and family reasons. Flus taking over, he's made that defense more aggressive. They've played better. The offense has started to do some of the things that made them successful last year again. And then I know we're going to get into Tyson Bagent. Tyson Bagent making his NFL. Oh my goodness, making his debut, his first start. Tyson Bagent looks really good in his first start. So they're able to eke out a win, and now it's like, okay, are we back on track? Do they look like a team that can incrementally improve as they go through a rebuild?
And the division isn't far off for them. I mean, you have the Vikings who are trying to climb out of their own hole. You have the Lions that are kind of teetering. What team are they? Are they the team that beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Are they the team that lost to the Baltimore Ravens? So, I mean, they could climb out of this. But just real quick, I have to ask you, what does it say about Josh McDaniels that he lost to Jeff Saturday as when he first debuted as a head coach, and now he loses to Tyson Bagent as a debuting NFL player? Just isn't that crazy to see that kind of stuff kind of happen?
Yeah, those are 2 L's he would probably like back. But you know what? You got to give the Bears and Bagent a lot of credit. I think it's more what they did less than what the Raiders didn't do. Now you can argue, should the Raiders have pressured Bagent a little bit more? Should have thrown him some blitzes to get in his face? Yeah, maybe. But I think he did a really nice job of taking what the defense gave him. The Bears' run game was really, really, really good, and that made things easy for Bagent, right? It's not like he had the greatest stats in the world. He had 1 passing touchdown, like 160 passing yards, but he made good decisions with the football. He was super efficient, and the whole team thing, they played complementary football. The defense was really, really solid.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's more about what the Bears did themselves than what the Raiders didn't do.
Yeah. Did you hear what Cole Kmet said about that? He felt like the Raiders were jet lagged and that they were just not in it and stuff. Did you hear? He was on Equiminius St. Brown's podcast, and he kind of said that. I don't know what you got, what you made out of that.
I did not hear that.
Okay.
I do know that EQ does have a pod. He does it with his brother, right? Amon Ra,
Yeah.
Brown, and EQ have it together. I hadn't heard that. There might be something to that because they were coming back from London. Is that what you're saying? They're jet lagged?
No, that's what he had said on the podcast.
From Vegas?
Yeah.
It's only an hour difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Teams travel on the road all the time.
It's 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe not even. What is Vegas Pacific time?
I believe so.
Okay, so 2-hour difference. I don't know about that. I think maybe they didn't bring the requisite energy to play, but I think blaming it on jet lag. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing too. Because I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from with that. But it seems like the Bears kind of turned a little bit of a corner. But I mean, honestly, I actually have the clip pulled up if you wanna hear it. It's right here. Let's see.
Sure.
They're a little jet lagged. I'm serious. Like the team we saw on tape was not the team that we played. I remember Corey came outside and like, "You're tired." No, they were gassed. You could tell, like, we would ball a couple times, and like if we got that first down, and then the next play, if we got like a good 6-yard chunk play, like on a run, like they were done, like they were deflated. Yeah, it's quite different. Yeah.
That to me is an effort problem. Now you want to bring it back to that Josh McDaniels question. That to me is your team isn't ready, your team isn't motivated, and that to me sounds like is that team not bringing the requisite effort to play an NFL game.
Yeah, no, I completely understand, but it's not about them; it's about the Bears. Obviously, I just wanted to show you that clip. Bagent, like Derwin James said yesterday to the media, he's like, "Look, a guy like that is dangerous. Why? He comes in, he has this swag." it's kind of like I have nothing to lose. Like, it's not like it's Justin Fields, who's a first round pick. He has all this pressure on him. This kid is coming in, he's playing free. That's dangerous. Is that kind of the sense that you guys have gotten from him? Like, he's playing free, he's playing with that swag, that kind of the sense?
Absolutely. You know, from day one, Bagent has been super confident, and he's told us, like, point blank, I do have nothing to lose, right? He's an undrafted free agent rookie from a D2 school. The fact that he made the roster at all is a huge accomplishment, right? When he makes the team out of camp, it's like, oh wow, this D2 kid's really got something. And in talking with him, you can that confidence comes off. He puts in the work, he puts in the preparation, you know. He doesn't just rest on his laurels, and that's what gives him his confidence. He says, like, I don't feel good, I don't feel comfortable until I know that I know everything I need to know, until I've done all the preparation, and that's what gives him his confidence. So he's put in that work. He trusts in his abilities. He trusts in the players around him. And, you know, the coaches, I think, put a pretty good game plan around him to help the offense succeed, help the Bears win. You put all that together, and yeah, that is a dangerous combo because, I mean, you think about the Bears, they have nothing to lose really either. Justin Fields is hurt, dislocated thumb. You basically get a free chance to take a look at this very intriguing young prospect. Let's see what he's got, right? So when you have all of those things working together, it clearly worked, and I think you see that on the field. You see that freedom, you see that confidence.
When you look at, I mean, one of the smarter trades, and I had said it all offseason, I'm like, one of the best trades of this offseason is DJ Moore going to the Bears. Just, I mean, we all saw it against the Commanders. He sunk me in fantasy football. But just, can you talk about the impact that DJ Moore has had coming in?
I mean, huge impact. Typically, you would think it takes a little bit of time for a quarterback and a new wide receiver to build some chemistry. But with them, I mean, it was right away in training camp. We saw that immediately. Like, oh, there's something here. And I started covering the Bears in 2020. So for me personally, you know, the Bears haven't been known for super explosive wide receivers for much of their franchise history. Allen Robinson was a great player, but that first season, it just wasn't working with Allen Robinson, that 2020 season. So this year, seeing DJ Moore on the practice field, it's like, whoa, that dude, that's a wide receiver one.
Yeah.
That's what that looks like. It's noticeable right away. And you can tell, especially through training camp, and I know it took a while for it to happen on Sundays, like they were finding ways to get him the ball and the ways in which he can get open, create separation, yards after the catch, contested catches. He has so many different ways that he can win. It really takes the Bears offense to a new level.
What did you make of the way the Bears defense attacked the Raiders on Sunday?
You know, I think they did a really nice job. They have not been known recently for good run defense, but it's steadily gotten better and better and better. And they did a really nice job. And I know the Raiders haven't been great rushing the football this year, but I still think Josh Jacobs is a dynamic player. Yep. They were able to stymie him in the middle. Andrew Billings has been a revelation at nose tackle for the team. And then the linebackers have really started playing a lot better. And the one wrinkle that I think is actually really, really cool that we might see more of this weekend is the Bears have started using a lot more dime packages, especially on third downs and obvious passing downs, because the strength of their defense is the secondary. That was very clear all year from the beginning of the year. Hey, they've got a lot of really good defenders. Now they're starting to play to those strengths. Hey, if we have all these great DBs, why don't we just get as many DBs as we can on the field? So they've started employing these dime packages. It's been pretty effective. And I think that's just a really cool, creative way that the Bears and the coaching staff have figured, like, hey, how do we play to our team's strengths? And the improvements have been noticeable, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I thought one of the steals in the draft a couple of years ago was Eddie Jackson. I remember, I think he tore his ACL or something in college, and he kind of fell in the draft. And when the Bears took him, I'm like, that guy is a sneaky good pick. But Justin Jones is a former Charger. He's been this is his second year with Chicago. Just what have you kind of noticed from him?
You know, I think, and I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but I think everyone would agree it's been a little disappointing. You know, that 3 tech position is one of the most important positions on this defense. They really need that player to win one-on-ones, to penetrate, and to just wreak havoc in the backfield, whether that's TFLs, whether that's sacks, QB pressures. And with Justin Jones, it's been a little inconsistent. He does flash, and you do see the sacks, and you do see some of the disruption, but it just hasn't been enough out of that position in particular. Where at times this year, the nose tackle, which again is supposed to be the not glorious, not spotlight position, Andrew Billings has flashed more at times than Justin Jones. So they brought him in. They thought he could be a backfield disruptor consistently, but we've really only seen it in flashes.
When you gather the sense of, I mean, obviously Matt Eberflus, there's been some pressure there, I'm sure, but what's kind of your sense about him? Like, is it like after this, say that they don't make the playoffs, they have a top 5 pick with that one, not the Panthers pick. Do you feel like Matt Eberflus's job is safe, or is he kind of teetering? What's your thought process?
You know, everybody in Chicago in this instant gratification world we live in these days wanted Eberflus gone like after week 2, right? But the Bears don't fire coaches midseason. It's never happened. So I don't think he's going to be fired midseason.
Yeah, no.
I don't know that it's necessarily fair to fire him at the end of the season as well, especially if the Bears do improve. You know, as you were saying, if they have 5-6 wins, if they have 6 wins, that is 100% improvement from last season, right? And I also think, you know, people look at his terrible win percentage, right? Oh, he's got the worst win percentage in Bears history. Well, it's only been, you know, barely over 20 games into his career. And last year, he was working with a roster that was torn to the studs, right? I mean, the Bears were in the beginning of rebuild mode. They trade away Roquan Smith. They trade away Robert Quinn because they thought that Travis Gibson could be the leading pass rusher. Meanwhile, Travis Gibson didn't even make the team this year. So they ripped that roster to the studs last year. This, in my opinion, was year 1 of the rebuild.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I think he'll be safe. If they go on another losing streak and they end this season with 2 wins, then he probably goes, right? But if there is that progress and you say, hey, this team is playing better, I think he stays. Because here's another thing I know. The players in that locker room really love him. And even though it's been a lot of losing in Chicago, he has not lost that locker room. You know, the guys really appreciate him. And they buy in. They really buy into what they're building.
What's the feeling around Justin Fields?
Justin Fields is the man, and Justin Fields is QB1. Is the feeling around the team with him? You know, there's no quarterback controversy. I know one win. Everybody wants there to be a quarterback controversy. There really isn't. If Justin Fields is healthy, he's going to start. Now Tyson Bagent, if he wins again, then you can say, hey, you know what? Let's make sure Justin's 100% before he gets back on that field. We don't need to rush him back. But I don't get a sense that there's a quarterback controversy. And honestly, the Bears need to have a full evaluation of Justin Fields at the end of the season. They don't need a full evaluation of Tyson Bagent. They need to know, is Justin Fields the guy? Yes. Is Justin Fields the guy? No. And in order to get that full evaluation, he's got to play.
How do you last question for me? How do you feel about that? Like the potential of them having the number 1 and the number 2 pick. And I mean, I know I'm already skipping to the draft. It's only week 8 or whatever, but I mean, I don't get it. Obviously, the Chargers and Bears only play each other every like 8 years or whatever, so that's why I got to ask you. But what's the feeling around that number? If they have the number 1 and the number 2 pick, I mean, could they potentially go elsewhere, or kind of what's the word around in Chicago over that?
I mean, yeah, if they have the number 1 and the number 2 picks, something's gone terribly wrong. Justin Fields is probably not the guy. And in that case, you're probably drafting Caleb Williams number 1 and Marvin Harrison Jr. or Joe Alt or Jared Verse or Olu Fashanu or any of these guys number 2, right? But again, in this hypothetical scenario where the Bears have the 1 and the 2, clearly it ain't working. So I would expect them to be drafting Caleb Williams, or I guess Drake May, but it feels like it's got to be Caleb Williams.
Alex, thank you so much for jumping on. We appreciate you so much. I know I only told you 10 minutes, but I took 15. Totally appreciate you jumping on with us, and let all the good folks know where they can find you on social media.
First of all, thanks so much for having me, Fernando. It was a fun time. You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever it's called, at Alex Shapiro NBCS. You can read all my work on NBCSportsChicago.com. You can listen to our podcast on the Under Center podcast. That's on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. And if you are in the Chicago market, if you have access to NBC Sports Chicago, tune in every Wednesday at 5:30 because they put us on TV. Our podcast is on TV. Can you believe
That's
that?
awesome. That is awesome. Best place to go get deep dish pizza in Chicago is?
Ooh, okay. That's a loaded question, my man. Off the top of my dome, we have a few faves.
All right, give me your top three.
Is Lou Malnati's. So we typically go between either Lou Malnati's or Pequod's. Pequod's is a bit of an acquired taste. They got the burnt cheese crust, but if you're into it, it's pretty fuego.
Hey,
so we split our deep dish half and half between those two.
There you go. I'm gonna have to check it out the next time I go to Chicago. Alex, thank you so much.
Thanks again, Fernando.
Dan, solid interview with Alex Shapiro. Obviously, some interesting stuff. I mean, this weekend is going to be interesting. We got a little perspective now on the Bears, so we're gonna move on and talk a little bit more about them. But let's go now to Derwin James as he explains basically what it's going to be like to face a little bit of unknown. I mean, not a lot of people know about Tyson, their starting quarterback, and what he's going to do this weekend. So let's go to Derwin and let's see what he has to say about facing basically the unknown this weekend. Tyson only played last week against the Raiders, and he had a good performance. But let's see what Derwin has to say.
Speaking of which, before you play this, did you see that tweet that was like, under Josh McDaniels, loses in Jeff Saturday's first game as a head coach, and loses what'd you say his name was? Tyson?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Tyson's first start.
That is hilarious. I did not see that.
Oh yeah.
Was it good?
Oh, the tweet, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I was dying.
All right, let's go to Derwin now and see what he had to say.
A lot of confidence. It looked like he having fun. It looked like they believe in him too by the plays they're calling. So we got to be ready. Anybody that has confidence in his league, you got to be ready. And like I said, we got to come get the W on Sunday.
What's the challenge playing like a rookie quarterback versus a Justin Fields when there's not as much film on them?
No fear. I mean, they don't have nothing to lose. And if I'm a young player coming out there, like, I'm new, I'm fresh, I got nothing to lose. I'm just trying to go out there and get a win. So, we got to be ready for that.
When it comes to preparing for a guy like Bagent, since he has only one regular season game, do you guys watch film of preseason going back to when he played in college? How much are you looking?
It's the NFL. We watch everything. So I'm pretty sure we scout everything. We're watching everything. So it's the NFL.
What do you think when you hear the quarterback you're facing is a Division II guy you probably never heard of? I mean, you take it serious? I mean, what's your reaction when you hear about him?
You got to take it serious because they just beat one of our division opponents last week, and they had a lot of rushing yards and a lot of passing yards. So we got to just come out. You can't take nobody lightly in this league or you'll get humbled. So we got to come out and execute and be ready to play on Sunday night.
Did that guy ask if he's taking him seriously?
Don't get me started.
What a stupid.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
That's not one of my boys, right?
No, hell no.
I knew it wasn't one of my boys.
Yeah, no.
Jesus.
Uncle Joe loves that guy though.
I'm sure. Are you taking it seriously? Did he not watch Nick Saban at Jacksonville, who didn't take it seriously? You remember what he said to who was it? Was it the Texans or who it was? Where he's like, "Shit, it's like you're playing Alabama every week."
Yeah.
Good old Urban. Hey, over under. You think he takes that Michigan State job supposedly?
Oh, that actually
is the Chomp Haas fiend back?
That would honestly be interesting to
Dude,
see
the
if he
internet's
does
gonna
take that
melt
job.
down, dude. And you already know.
Or is he waiting for Jim Harbaugh to head back to the NFL and then he takes the Michigan job?
Dude, could you imagine Ohio State if he took Michigan?
That's why he's trying to get back into it. But Bagent went 21-29, 162 and 1 touchdown. Donta Foreman, 16 carries, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also added one on a receiving touchdown. So
how many yards did you say that they got rushing?
As a team, 173.
Oh, okay.
And 2 touchdowns. But Donta Foreman had 89 on 16 carries and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So Dan, they're an impressive unit. I mean, I know they're 2-5. Everybody's thinking, oh, they're gonna tank for Caleb Williams. They're gonna get Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
They can still get Caleb Williams and still do well because they own Carolina's pick, and Carolina's still 0-6, I think. So
can you imagine they get a top 1 and 2 or 1 and 3.
Well, no, that's what everybody thinks that they were gonna do, but now they won last week and everything. So we'll see how they do. But Dan, just talk about that, having to face a guy who's, how do I want to put it? Like, he's inexperienced, he's coming in, but Derwin said it. He has the swagger, he has the confidence. That's dangerous.
I think it's very similar to what people were saying about Brock Purdy last year when he kind of burst on the scene. Like, obviously, they might not be the same magnitude, obviously not the same caliber of team and everything else. But I mean, when you have nothing to lose, you're going to play a lot freer. And I think the thing that he has going for him so far, he played a clean game. What you can have, you remember when I know this is going throwback, but you remember when Nathan Peterman got his first start? For a while, he was known as the guy who threw, what was it, like 4 or 6 picks in the first half?
Yeah, something like that.
Like against the Chargers, and it's like, that's what you can't have happen. You know, it's one thing, you know, you're a little bit tighter with the ball.
He threw
5 in the first half. You're not taking risks. Like, people can live with that. What they can't live with is you just throwing the football anywhere and just doing that. So I think 100%. The biggest thing he has going for him is, like, he's not going to make it easy for the opponents in the sense giving the ball away, giving a bad field position to his defense and stuff like that. I think the other thing also that's going to benefit him is that the Chargers have struggled in the run game. So maybe Sunday is when they get that run game going and started, and it takes a little bit of pressure off of them, because that when you get into these type of situations where you have rookie quarterbacks or inexperienced quarterbacks, that's what you want to do. You want to get the run going, set up the play action, and then the play action you can get into the drop back, because you're going to make people so fearful of the running back coming downhill and the offensive line getting after it that they're going to at least suck in a few linebackers and get easy completions behind them. So
no, and the Chargers have been better against the run, but I think that's because everybody sees that their passing attack is not very good.
Yeah, and they've been picking on him. Yeah, you have the Equiminius St. Brown out there also, unless he's hurt. He's not hurt, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but he's out there. I think they have another guy who's pretty solid.
DJ Moore.
He's not the one who got traded in something.
No. He got traded to the Bears.
Yeah, that was
Claypool.
Yeah.
They also have Darnell Mooney, who's also what's it called? A dangerous weapon. But Dan, even that's their offense. On their defense, they picked off the Raiders 3 times.
Yeah.
The Raiders had 14 carries for 39 yards. So they held Devontae Adams to 7 catches, 57 yards.
Yeah, so it's not going to be easy, especially since the offense has not looked, as good, and it looks like it struggled. And I mean, we're going to find out on Sunday.
And the Chargers facing a former teammate.
Who's the former teammate?
Justin Jones.
Oh, he's on that team. Oh, damn! I didn't even know. So he's got this one circled. And you know how it goes sometimes when the Chargers play former teammates, it doesn't go too well half the time. But it's, again, any given Sunday under the lights and everything, and you don't know if Herbert's fingers affecting him more than people think, or something's going on. What?
I appreciate you bringing that up. Herbert today.
That's what I do here, Frau. I volleyball it up for you. There you go.
Herbert talked about the finger and the difficulties of not being with his middle finger. Here it is.
The grip, since I don't have the middle finger full strength-wise, the grip on the ball is the important part of having the glove, where you're able to control it. And the pocket gets tight, and so being able to grip it and hold on to the ball is the toughest part without the middle finger. So I think that's kind of helpful for the games, for practice right now, where I know that I'm not going to get hit, or at least I shouldn't. Tape and just being able to keep it casted up helps.
Sorry for the repeated questions about football physics, but is it more
Shout out to Uncle Joe
in shotgun compared to under center having the glove, or is it both about the same in terms of grip?
The glove, I don't think has a whole lot of impact on under center or in the gun. I think it's more so just being able to grip the ball, and going under center with the glove, I think it helps because you have that extra grip, so the ball is able to kind of grip into that. But I don't think there's too much of a difference between under center and in the gun.
We talked a lot today about Justin Herbert's middle finger. Honestly, like if I would have gotten a chance to talk to him off camera and everything, I would have asked him, did you ever think we'd be talking about middle fingers in the
I'm
NFL?
You don't want to flip some of you guys the bird, dude.
Oh, not me.
No, not you, obviously.
No, I know.
Not you, obviously.
No, I'm kidding. No, but obviously, he said it. It's tough to grip. It's hard to the release. Everything's going to be different for him. That's why I understand. Like, yes, it's been tough. Yes, he's missed throws, but I think it's a little bit of everything. It's the not having Mike, not having Corey. It's the finger. It's the offensive line. Not being all that good. He
possibly people not getting open.
Exactly. He got sacked 5 times last week. Yeah. And that's not counting the times that they hit him. So so he's facing pressure. He's doing a lot. Is he at fault for it? Yeah. Today he said it. He's like, I missed those throws. He's like, the ones at Keenan, I should have hit him. That's on me. I gotta be better. And Keenan told me after practice, he's like, look, we've talked about it. We're trying to get on the same page. We don't want that to happen. If the relationship between Keenan, this is a marriage. If the relationship between Keenan and Justin is off, then everything else is going to be off.
Yeah, exactly.
So if the relationship between Keenan and I'm not saying anything, I'm saying the on-field relationship, like if their on-field relationship isn't on, like because Keenan said, he hits me like at times where that sounded weird because I said marriage and then hit. He's sometimes like you could put a blindfold on Herbert sometimes and he'll find Keenan probably 8 out of 10 times. Because I wrote about this today. I remember that game against the Jets a couple of years ago. Remember where Herbert rolls out, Keenan has a defender in his face, doesn't even see the ball or anything.
Oh yeah.
Last second he sees it and he shifts his body over and he catches it. And then he does the rockabye baby. That's the thing. That's the relationship between Keenan and Justin.
That's one where I think he pointed at him or something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wrote. How many times hasn't he pointed at Justin, been like, damn, like that's a crazy throw. So obviously everybody just needs to be patient with Justin and not just, oh, he's regressed. Oh, he's this, oh, that. No, like give it time. Like he's last year. I remember everybody said that he sucked after that Jaguars game, the first one of the season when it was his first game without dealing with the ribs. Yeah, it's gonna take time. And the thing is, I know people are impatient, but how many times don't we criticize saying that teams get rid of people too early, coaches, they don't give people time. You got to give Justin time. I know that's frustrating. I know everyone had high hopes for this team, but right now you have to wait till Justin kind of gets adjusted to this. And I'm sure he's making adjustments. I'm sure he's getting better. And pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. And that's what I asked Keenan about Quentin, and he's like, Quentin just needs to stay focused. He's like, that's the thing. It's hard. And who's going to know more than Keenan, who went through this his first year with the Chargers? I know he won he should have been
for a few years. Yeah.
I don't think he got rookie of the year that year. I think it was somebody else that got rookie of the year, but Keenan was in consideration. He had a great rookie year. He had over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Yeah. He knows about the frustration parts of it. And he said, look, he just needs to stay patient because once you lose your focus, that's when the quarterback is going to start throwing out of nowhere. You're going to be like, oh crap, the quarterback's throwing my way. So he just said he needs to stay focused. So you're going to have to give that all of it time. And I know some people don't want to hear that, but nobody expected Mike to go down for this amount of time. Nobody expected any of this. So it's going to take a little bit of time. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's just how it goes. But obviously Herbert put it on himself and he said, it's on me. I need to do a better job. So we'll see how he goes this weekend. But I'm pretty sure he's starting to get adjusted to it. That middle finger thing, I'm sure, is going to be with him for a while. So especially the way they're taping it and everything. But
yeah,
that's the end of my spiel, Dan.
It's all good, dude. That's the biggest thing, dude, is like it takes time, especially now shifting new offensive core. It's like we talked about when the season started. New offense, he's on his fourth offensive hold on, it was third offensive
coordinator in 4 years.
Third offensive coordinator. It's like he's gonna be fine. The son of Odin's the son of Odin. He's gonna be fine. Did he miss some throws? We already talked about it. Yes, he did. It is what it is. On to what was who was the one
on to Cincinnati?
Yeah, exactly. Who said that again?
Bill Belichick.
Yeah, thank you. We're on to Cincinnati. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We're on to the Bears. So it is what it is. I mean, it's in the past, dude. The rear view mirror is the smallest mirror in the car for a reason, dude.
This is what Brandon Staley had to say about the offensive line, and I asked him about it today, and this is what he had to say about it.
Oh, shaved.
In these last 2 games.
Oh, I know that, boy.
We haven't been consistent enough. I think we've, in the last game, I liked the way we responded in the run game. I felt like we had a quality run game performance, and I felt like it was definitely good enough for us to win the game. We were explosive in the run game, and thought our guys came off the ball, but the second half, I thought we faded a little bit in that phase. But this line's going to continue to get better. There's a lot of young guys in that group, as 3 really young ones, and Trey and Will being the older guys. But the more that group plays together, the better it's going to get. But we like coaching that group.
In terms of he has a point there. It does take time, but I mean, there's still some principles. You need to keep the son of Odin upright as much as you can. Like, unfortunately, in that aspect, you don't have a lot of time to wait, because you can put this guy in the ground and cost him a year and stuff like that. Like, you can't have that happening, dude. You can't let him take the abuse that he did last year. Like, that was criminal, dude. Like, but yeah, they're young, and of course he loves coaching that group. Frown, you hear that? They're offensive linemen. They're not damn skill players, of course. You always love coaching the Hogs. We always have a blast over here in the trenches, dude. I'm gonna tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I bet you like it. Obviously, if you want to know a little bit more about no, never mind. I'm gonna stay with this. This weekend is very important because I think it's going to be very telling of where this team is headed.
Exactly.
Like I said, they have we've said it. They have a tough schedule moving forward. I get it. But if they can kind of get the ball rolling this weekend, it could turn into something where they maybe could turn this season around. But it's just Chicago just looks like one of those teams where they just kind of let's just
see what happens.
Let's just see what happens. Yeah, that's how Chicago's going. And I'm sure Chicago's going to come in and yeah, exactly. And next week it's the Jets. Obviously, you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but you look ahead, the Jets, the Lions.
Jets have a good defense, and they can say whatever they want about Zach Wilson and all that other stuff.
Exactly.
And the other thing is, too, Frown, is like when you're a team with no expectation, that's where you really become just a bracket buster or whatever else, and you pick up wins when you can. So
yeah, no, and I completely agree with that. But obviously, this weekend's going to be very telling. I mean, if they can get this win, they're 3-4. They go to New York next week. That's going to be a fight. I mean, we've seen what New York has done. Their defense has done. I know they had the one outlier game against the Dallas Cowboys, but other than that, they've been stout all season. So it's going to be interesting to see just what this team is going to be moving forward. But I mean, we'll see what happens. But
the Jets have to complete what that magician said in Hard Knocks round. Jets Niners. I want to see it.
Oh, that would be. Hey,
you remember that scene?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah. I remember my Super. I think that was my Super Bowl. My Super Bowl was the. I know I chose the Jets. So and Aaron Rodgers. Hey, who knows? Maybe he does come back or whatever.
Hey, Rodgers, discount. You remember that one? Damn, that's a throwback commercial.
That's an old one.
Yeah. They did one with the 2 Bears fans, a discount double check.
Yeah. Hey, did you hear that Bagent's dad was a former arm wrestling champion?
Arm wrestling. Wow.
Yeah, that's
pretty dope.
here's a little bit about
That's where he got his cannon. That's where he got his cannon from.
here's a little bit about Tyson. We'll watch this video for a
that
bit.
he's the best and he can do anything that he wants to do. I think after a period of time, you just start to believe it. It's his dad, so he believed it.
Tyson was an extremely good baseball player, 6, 7, 8, up to his probably 10 years old.
Then he said, "Psych, you're playing football, son."
He had started throwing the football like crazy. Instead of practicing 2 days a week, we practiced 6 days a week, right? And we practiced at my house, and I was a coach. So that's kind of how it started.
Would tell him that he's the greatest.
That's really interesting. I mean,
You know the guy's hungry, dude. How many?
Yeah.
What are the probabilities?
Division
he would
two
have made it to the
football.
ball?
I mean, everybody probably doubted him.
West Virginia. His dad's probably blue collar. So's his son.
Exactly.
Probably. That's what got him this far.
What do you think about what Richard Sherman said here? Just real
Said
quick.
it. Oh, I think you sent this in the chat, but I didn't watch it.
Talent on this defense for them to be getting shredded, and especially in the secondary. You've got good secondary players, Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James. I don't understand why it's
Left one out.
Bailey's supposed to be a defensive coach. When the Rams were having all those great years and defense was playing out of their mind, he was the coordinator, and everybody thought he's so innovative. People stealing his concepts, stealing his plays, stealing his coverages. What's going on? Like, you know how you say you could take whatever and make lemonade? Mitchell, he's taking sugar, water, lemons, and making feces somehow. It stinks. It does not smell good.
Who's his co-host? I don't even know who that was.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, but in the sense of what he's saying, like, let's see where I can go with this before I get boxed in. Okay. I think the biggest difference in that sense of what he's talking about, right? On the Rams, Les Snead was the general manager, right? And in those Rams teams, I mean, when you have Aaron Donald in the middle, Jalen Hurts, what the hell's his name? Jalen Ramsey. And a general manager who's not afraid to say F them picks and get all these guys in here, I'd say that's a lot different of a defense than a guy who has to build it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think in the sense where he's coming from here is like he doesn't have that Aaron Donald up the middle. He doesn't. So he has Bosa on the edge. He has Mack on the edge. And they help out in the run game. But, I mean, if you run it between the tackles, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack can only do so much. That makes sense in setting the edges. You know, when he was with the Rams, they had freaking Aaron Donald. I think they had Leonard Floyd. Like, they had more pieces up front that were a lot more established, I think.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Then you had didn't they have some good-ass linebackers, too, at the time? I know it was a few years ago, but I'm trying to remember who was on that defense. But the point of the matter is that he wasn't on the team that went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots, right? No, I didn't think so. The point of the matter is you have a lot different of a team there. And it's like right here, you have almost the opposite type of manager who's not going to make trades. He's going to try and go through the draft, try and sign guys who he can and stuff like that. And I think when he's talking about DBs, he only named 2 DBs. I don't know what he's talking about. All this like talent again, like I don't know if Michael Davis is the guy. I don't know if they have proper help for Derwin James back there at the safety position. And, you know, if you remember, speaking of Richard Sherman and the Legion of Boom days, I think obviously the Legion of Boom was very talented, but I think it's overlooked just really how dominant that front seven was. That's what made the Legion of Boom, not the way they played. Because think about it, Frau. If you have no pass rush and no linebackers who are physical and intimidating and everything else, same with the defensive lineman, the quarterback's going to sit there and throw whenever he wants. It doesn't matter if you have the Legion of Boom back there. He's going to complete it at some point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like the fact that I don't think the Chargers have that right now. I think you maybe have Khalil Mack for sure. He's been a dog. Joey Bosa, when healthy, is a dog. But then it's like in the middle, you know, Morgan Fox will get there a few times. You know, Sebastian Joseph Day will get there a few times. But it's not that consistent effort that you would see in those type of dominant defenses. Because, like, you remember what people feared about when Brandon said he was there, if I remember right, was the defense and how physical they were. And on top of that, they feared the run game on the other side. And it's like, for whatever reason, since he's been the Chargers head coach, you haven't really seen that. You haven't really seen the dominant physical defense and the dominant run game that's really going to punish guys. You know what I'm saying? So
I completely agree.
I think
Yeah,
also,
because I mean, year one of Brandon Staley, the offensive, I mean, going to the offensive line, like you said, running the football, they had Rashawn Slater, Corey Linsley, but then everywhere else, they kind of had a little bit of.
I'm trying to remember who it was too. Like this is the problem, Frown, when you have memory or years you want to forget about. I just can't even remember who was there at those positions. I want to say, what's his name? Schofield came back. Pipkins was the other tackle, and I can't remember who the left guard was.
Let me see. I'll check right now.
I can't remember, but the thing that I think also, I think the other thing he's
it was Rashawn Slater, Ode Abuje, Corey Linsley, Matt Tyler, and Brian Bulaga.
Oh yeah, Bulaga. Of course, he
so
got
Storm
hurt.
Norton basically took over for him.
Oh, don't even ever say that name again.
And
I
then
can't.
Ode Abuje only made it like a couple of
Yeah.
games. So
Yeah, who was the left guard though? Schofield goes right guard. Pipkins right tackle. Who was the left?
Schofield
guard?
was Schofield here?
I'm pretty sure he was. I remember he came back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. Anyway, I think the other thing he's overlooking for now is this, right? It's a lot different, in my opinion, to be a coordinator to being a head coach. Like, I think that is polar opposite.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Especially when you're calling the plays.
yeah, like just because you're calling the plays as a head coach, I don't think it's the same as calling the plays as a coordinator. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
as the head coach, you have the weight of the world. And then on top of that, add play calling and everything else, right? Coordinator, you're just operating in a small sphere. That's all you have to worry and concern yourself about, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a little bit different right there. But yeah, I understand what he's talking about. I think he's right in some sense, but yeah, I think he's right in some sense, but I think it's a little bit of a oversimplification. Not that I'm defending Staley, but
no, I know, I get you.
I just think sometimes it's like I've said before on this program, right? You don't put systems that players don't fit in and put them on the field. You know what I mean? Like,
well, look at JC Jackson now.
I think sometimes coaches are too focused on the system and not the players they have. You have to play to your player strength, right? And I think that maybe has been the biggest problem of this defense, where it's like maybe he's brought in guys who are solid at a few things or whatever, but they don't fit the particular system that he wants.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion, right?
Yeah.
I know he's made the decision to brought him in, but he could have brought him in and then realized, oh, shoot, they don't fit my system, right? Like probably what you saw with JC Jackson. So that's all I'm saying about that.
Well, just real quick before we head out of here, look at this video.
Let's see this.
Check it down for the Chiefs. Mahomes with all kinds of time. Flag on the play.
Of course.
It's going to be holding on the Chargers.
Of course.
They got me. They got me or you. They got one of us on it. It's a run, Eddie. It's a run, Eddie. Come on now, you know me.
Look, Daddy.
See that hold?
He couldn't block my boy. He couldn't. Who's barking?
Kelsey.
Oh, he's trash.
Come with me. Everybody come with me. I'll take up two.
I wish I would have just cracked his dumb ass right there. Just cracked.
I thought it was so funny how Derwin's like, it's a run, ain't it, Kelsey?
Yeah.
He's like, and but so Kelsey on the pod said that he thought he was gonna get called for pass interference. Remember the one that it looked like a push off? Like they said that Derwin was holding him, but
bro, why would he ever get called for pass interference?
And then
we got Taylor Swift up in the stands. We got Donna Kelsey up in the stands. We have the whole.
I don't know if you saw this, but rookie defensive tackle Scott Madlock.
Oh, I saw that. You sent that. Yeah. You sent that, or someone sent that in the chat.
You gotta have some fun with it, baby. You already know, man. That's true. Good vibes, baby. Keep fighting, baby. We'll see y'all boys in a little bit.
Any advice for a rookie?
You know what it is? Understand the other side of the ball just as well as you know your side of the ball.
Right,
you feel me? Because I'm everything's predicated off of what I'm doing on what the defense is doing. So just loved it, man. Play with the guy next year. That's all I got for you, man.
So individually from everybody loving Kelsey and everything, I'm just going to go real quick and we'll move on to the last thing before we head out of here. I thought that was actually pretty cool of Kelsey to kind of give him some insight, because obviously it is true. Like, you got to know both sides of the ball. You have to know exactly what your opponent's going to do. So that's why for Scott Madlock, I mean, picking the mind out of like that's why I know sometimes people like wonder like why is he asking do you sit down with so and so and do this? Like I've always asked like does Joe I asked Rashawn Slater, do you ever pick the mind out of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack? He's like, yeah, I do. He's like, I can know so much of what those guys do, and then when I face other competitors, I kind of know, oh well, I've already blocked Khalil or Joey told me this or stuff like that. Scott Madlock, I mean, it's about talking to Corey Linsley, talking about Zion Johnson, talking to those guys and seeing what you can learn from them and obviously knowing what everybody's doing. I mean, that's very important as well. So I thought that was pretty cool from Travis to give him some advice. I mean, obviously, you're in the heat of the moment. Travis probably trying to get interviewed. He wants to get out of there and go see his family, friends, and his girl or whatever. So I thought it was pretty cool that he kind of took the time and I knew it. But I thought that was pretty. Hey, sometimes people blow you off. I mean, I've seen other stars that play for Miami FC blow off.
Oh, don't remind me. I hate that type of manure.
Yeah,
but you know why? You know why he probably didn't blow him off? Because Mr.
cameras are on him.
Are probably blue collar.
By the way, before before we head out of here, we have an update on Mike Williams. He put a video out on his TikTok. Here it is for you guys to check out. Oh shoot.
Oh my God, a fit check for surgery. Jesus.
So it's Mike going through the day. My bad. I forgot I have to talk. So they're telling him how they're going to go. It's his left knee, how they're going to do the surgery. They're washing his leg right now. Surgery was a success. He's getting out of the hospital. He's smiling and everything. He's asleep in the car. He gets to the
I'm
house.
surprised he wasn't in the SUV or something. Oh yeah.
He was in a truck. He gets back home. Chargers social media surprised them.
I'm gonna be back soon. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
We're gonna see him pull Aaron Rodgers, come back early.
Imagine if he does work out with Aaron Rodgers. I thought that was pretty cool. Mike is obviously, and just from me, Mike is always really cool, man. I mean, I talk to him in the locker room all the time, and I don't necessarily pull out the recorder and start recording. I'm not like that. Like, I want to talk to them. I want to. So Mike and I just started talking. Like, we were talking about how it was so funny that DeAndre Hopkins went back to school and he had what's it called? He had walking through the locker room.
Yeah,
he's like on Zoom and stuff during class. So I mean, Mike is always a cool guy. We always talk about different things, and I hope he recovers fast. And honestly, that's awesome to see that he's doing well. So Dan, just real quick, give me a fantasy player to watch for this weekend.
Fantasy player to watch. Let me go with. I'll go with Equiminius. Equiminius St. Brown. Because
wait, hold on. I think he is. I think
is he hurt?
Let me check. But
yeah, if not, I'll go with someone else. Don't worry. I'll just pick a Charger then. I would go with Josh Kelly.
He was on injury reserve 2 weeks ago with a hamstring injury.
Damn, IR. Damn. All right. So I take that back. So we're going to get in the comments at whatever minute we mention. Oh, he's on IR. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thanks. I'm going to go with Josh Kelly then. I didn't understand last week, and we talked about this after the game, why it's always the same MO with this team, no matter who the coordinator is. Why do you see a little bit more of a mix in the first half, and then the second half comes around and it's the Austin Eckler show? Like, I don't understand it, especially now that he's hurt. You would think you would limit his reps and his snaps. So especially, I would not make him run the football a lot if he's still limping around and not comfortable with that ankle. I would just have him run routes, catch the ball, drop down after a 5-6 yard gain, don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm gonna go with Josh Kelly. I think this is the game where they really need to try and get that run game going. So give me Josh Kelly as the fantasy player to watch.
I'm gonna go with Donta Foreman. 3 touchdowns last week. I think he's going to be interesting to watch this week. I think he could make the difference for a team that obviously, like you said, they want to run the football to kind of get their quarterback going a little bit. So mix it up. And I think I would watch out for him. Give me an X factor.
I think the X factor is going to be Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. I think if they don't put pressure on this guy, and the longer they let him, they keep him in the game, the worse it's going to be, I think, in the second half for the Chargers.
I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go Quentin Johnston. If he can get going, then
Well,
then this
hopefully he
offense
does
will-
because we haven't seen it yet. So hopefully he does it.
There it is.
No, it's not a
Prediction.
dig. I'm just saying.
No, I
Hopefully
know.
he does.
Prediction.
I already said it. If Seth Rollins tweets out "I love football," it's over, dude. It's over. We're just moving on. I think the Chargers win.
Yeah, I'll say the Chargers win as well. I think this has to be an important game, and if you're really that talented, like you think, well, if you're really as good and everything as I'm sure the team thinks they are and everything, they have to win this game. So I'll say they win this game this weekend as well. But we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of What's Up Bolts. We will be here after the game. Yeah, we'll do it as soon as the game's over. Dan and Daygo and as soon as I get back from media, but Dan and Daygo and I will have the episode up and ready that night. Obviously we wish we could record the next day, but Dan has stuff to do, I have stuff to do, so it'll be as soon as I'm out of the locker room, we'll record, we'll upload it. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Again, we appreciate you guys so much for jumping on. Don't forget to check out everything else on Compas on the Beat. Make sure you guys check out Compas on the Beat already dropped. Make sure you guys check out that episode. Compas FC will be dropping on Friday.
Shout out.
Talking about all your Champions League recap. If you guys didn't check it out, go check out Compas Compas FC last week. We had a surprise guest. Dan and Daygo dropped by for a little bit. You guys are going to want to see that.
You already know I was raising hell.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to watch that. But again, thank you guys so much for checking it out. Don't forget to check out everything else on Compas on the Beat Network. Like, comment, subscribe, be a compa, tell a compa about what your compas on the beat are doing. Thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your week and a great weekend.